Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. I wanted to come on with a coaching tip for today. So, this coaching tip is going to be a little bit different than the other ones, mostly because I've gotten some feedback that some of you would love to be able to see it on YouTube, and you'd like to be able to see it in my feed so that you can have access to it as it comes up for you or as you want to refer it to other people, etc. So, here we go. We're going to do it this way for a little bit and see how it goes. So, today's coaching tip is going to be around progress versus perfection. And so what I found from my own experience is that when I lived in the land of perfection many years ago, there was a lot of pressure, and I put a lot of black and white thinking on things, that things had to be a certain way, that they couldn't be another way. And what that really did was living in that perfectionist cycle was that it kept me small, it kept me very limited. I didn't take a lot of risks because I was afraid that it might not be perfect. And so it felt like at that time it might be easier to just not do anything unless it was exactly the way that I wanted it to be. But when I had an awakening, I realized that if I kept living that way, I was really never going to be able to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do, because if they weren't perfect, I couldn't do them. So what I started to do was just shift into the idea of progress. So instead of putting all this pressure on myself, let's say to have like the best podcast or the most perfect podcast, I was like, let's just start with where I am, which means I get a microphone, I get a Zoom call, and I start coaching somebody, and I upload it and edit it and see how it goes. And then I learn as I go. Progress versus waiting until everything is perfect. And a lot of times when I was waiting, nothing ever got done. And so now when I can move more into just being okay with progress, the other thing that starts to bring up for people is their worth, their value, their enoughness. So just know that if you start to have the intention to move into progress, you might start to bump up against some of those other things. And if you do, that's natural. That's totally okay. There's a lot of skills, there's a lot of tools that you can learn how to be okay with what's coming up for you. But what I have found by living in this state of progress is that I get to look at how I'm growing. I get to look at how I'm healing. I get to look at who I was a year ago on this same day, or who I was a week ago, or who I was just a day ago, and really look for my own progress in my life. So being able to live in this land of progress versus perfection is just so freeing. It's so liberating. And so I'm just inviting you today to look at what are some of the things that you're holding that you have to do perfectly or you have to be perfect at, versus just allowing yourself to have an experience and learn from it and take some course corrective action, and then start to move into progress with whatever it is that you want to create in your life. All right, peace.